The Quiz on podcast is brought to you by the Flamingo Fund, supporting LGBTQ+ projects, organisations and initiatives. To find out more, head to flamingoscoffeehouse.co.uk/the Flamingo Fund.
Hello and welcome back to the Quiz on podcast with me, Alex Mitchell.
And me, Hollie Noble.
This week we're joined by yet another fabulous comedian. Please welcome to the pod, Chloe Reynolds.
Woo!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We're very excited to have you. I've only given you a couple of times, but I genuinely, and lots of people are saying it, that you are like one of the most exciting things coming out of the circuit at the minute. People are very excited. We think you're fantastic comics. We're really thrilled to have you before anyone else gets you, basically. That's what we're happy about. So thank you so much for coming on. Our first question on the pod is always, what would be the ideal drink to have in this situation? What would be your favourite drink to have right now?
I'm going to be really boring. It'll be like, you know those frozen lemonades? Like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like...
This isn't boring.
Wait.
This is
Oh,
great.
okay.
No, explain.
So...
Like a slushy?
A
little
frozen
bit.
lemonade. Well, imagine a lemonade.
Yeah.
Now put it in your freezer.
Yeah, but then there's like hints of mint in it as well, and it's just...
Oh, right, okay, so you're not having this at home, like this is out.
Oh, this is... I've only experienced it in like 3 or 4 places.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't know how
got
to
you, right.
recreate it.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I'm
got
just
it.
saying my favourite drink, and I
Yeah.
had it once in Denmark, once in Jordan, and it is just like etched in my brain as like the best thing I've ever had.
And so you started there going, oh, I'm going to be really boring. I
I
had
know.
a frozen lemonade in Jordan.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of boring.
It's a long story.
That's great. Hey, well travelled. That's great.
When you said it with such confidence that I was picturing like you had like bottles of these at home.
Oh,
and this
no.
is what you were like regularly.
No, I'm not like putting Schweppes in the freezer.
That was. Did you do that? Did you do that as a kid though? Did you ever do that where it wasn't sweat, but it was like you'd make like squash and then you'd stick it in the freezer on a stick, and then you'd have like
And I thought,
you have an ice lolly.
No, I think I just bought ice lollies really.
Wow, someone grew up in a. Someone's got money.
I grew up in Horses, you grew up in Cookridge.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
the
much the
difference.
difference there, the vibes we have. Yeah. My mum came home with a new ice cube tray the other day, and they're supposed to be shaped like fish. Spoiler alert, they did not look like fucking fish. They look like something that should not be, my mum should not be bringing into the
Dicks?
house. Oh, no, just full butt plugs. That's it's absolutely, I'll show you a picture of it later. Like, it's so awful. She's like, yeah, I thought it was cute, these little fish. I was like, that ain't a fish. Like, I don't know what kind of thing you are like, expecting to get from that, but please remove it from the kitchen.
I
Like,
love your mum so much.
she's great. I mean, she is that vibe of like, we don't have ice cubes, we have freezable fruit shapes. You know, those kind of, you know, yeah. With that family on the street. That's what we are. No, that's an exciting choice.
Yeah.
Who comes up with an exciting choice like that? That's cool.
I just have to think outside the box because
Yeah.
I don't drink, so it's like...
Do you not drink at all?
Me neither.
No. Yeah.
What's your favourite non-alcoholic? Do you drink like... I keep doing that. Do you drink like drinks that are meant to be alcohol that are non-alcoholic? I don't know why I could like non-alcoholic wine.
Rarely, but I had one sip. Well, no, I had 1 pint of non-alcoholic beer at a festival last week, and it genuinely, for the first 5 minutes of it, I started getting paranoid. Like, like that's just how like.
Just by association.
Yeah, my brain just doesn't like it anymore. So
Yeah. How long have you been sober?
Properly, probably about 2 years.
Oh,
But
damn.
then on and off, probably from like early 20s, and
Wow.
I'm 33 now. But, you know, you just
Nice.
have those little periods where you go, my relationship with alcohol's fine, I can pick it up for 6 months, and then you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
We're going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
I'm starting to go it's more sober now. I'm not like fully writing off alcohol because I've got some exciting things planned. But like, well, mainly I've got for Christmas I've got a voucher for a cocktail making class. I don't want to give that up.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, but I am trying to go more sober. And there's But I find like all these like non-alcoholic alternatives are just bad. Like,
No, you're wrong.
I've only found one that's good, and it's a non-alcoholic IPA, and that's the only one I've ever found that I'm actually like, oh, that's nice. But all the other ones, I'm like, I haven't found like there's
So
no
many good ones.
there's no good non-alcoholic.
The thing
lagers
is,
or-
if you go sober long enough, you forget what the original taste is.
That's
So then
true.
you
That's
can
it.
actually
So,
pretend it's
yeah.
as good
That,
as the
yeah,
real thing.
that is the thing.
Yeah.
You don't like Guinness, do you?
no.
Yeah,
I'm a
well,
child,
because
sorry.
0% Guinness is just fantastic. Do you like Guinness?
I did.
Yeah.
I've not had it since.
0% Guinness it's a trickster.
Yeah.
Found a lovely wine as well. There's some really good ones. At the minute I'm drinking non-alcoholic Aperol. So
Oh,
like
okay.
it's called No Secco, which just it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense because like anyway that and then mixed with non-alcoholic Aperol and it's literally an Aperol spritz.
Yeah, that's my other issue. Is the names. Like,
Yeah, it
no
does piss me off.
because it's the same with like you know like vegan alternative names.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this isn't sausages. Just give it a name.
Give it a
Right?
name,
It's not-
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
And they're also getting progressively more and more aggressive as time goes on. We started with like corn, like bacon, and it was like, this isn't sausages. Like eventually we're gonna be up like, we didn't rape this cow. Like,
Oh my God.
it's gonna be.
Nobody's raping
escalated.
cows.
How do you think milk is?
Oh yeah.
It's literally that's
Okay.
exactly what's
Oh,
that's
no,
what we're
don't
gonna get
talk
to
about
at the end.
that.
We're gonna get like this cow's fine. Like it's gonna be like it's
yeah,
just
I
like
mean. What would you call vegan sausages? Actually, I'll put this to both of you. What would you call vegan sausages if they weren't just like no meat sausages?
there's a really good brand which I like and I'd love sponsorship, but they're made out of mushrooms and they're called Shroomaloo,
Okay.
which is great.
Yeah, fair enough.
Shroomaloo is pretty solid.
Chloe, can you beat that? Shroomaloom.
Shroomaloo's good.
Don't-
You can't beat that.
No, the thing is, I'm a big advocate for meat, so
Wow.
yeah, which comes
Voice
across.
for it on the pod.
Yeah, so you know, I don't dick around with these.
Big advocate for
I'm
me.
a big yeah, sometimes I'm just like, oh, because I tried it for a while where I was like, I was almost like fully vegan in the week, and that was how like that's what I'm trying to do. That's how I started, like starting to go more sober. Like I started like a year ago, with like I'd be sober in the week, and at the weekend would be like drink. But then that turns to like I'll be sober in the week, and then I'll just get absolutely hammered at the weekend.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
I
make up for
realised
it.
it's similar for a thing I did for ages because I'm lactose intolerant, right? But I fucking love cheese, right? And so I'm not supposed to have anything. I'm not supposed to. But I was like, oh, right, let's just bite the bullet. I'll try and be vegan in the week, right? But then I was having the same issue with drinking. So it'd be like, oh, I'll be sober in the week, and at the weekend get shit faced. And it was like, oh, I'll be vegan in the week, and at the weekend just eat like a whole pig live. Like, it was just
Fucking
like
God.
this coming weekend, I was like, I'm gonna absolutely smash through these chickens. Like it was literally like the level it was at, and I was like, oh, this is worse than before.
Yeah.
If anything, this is worse for the planet. Like.
Yeah, I get that. I've done that before, definitely.
I think it's all these fad things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And because it's like dry January as well. Like people who do dry January, there are a lot of people who do dry January, I think, with not the best of intentions. And it's a like very trivial, fun way of being like, oh, I've got a problem. No, you just,
Yeah.
like wine. You just like sparkling
Yeah.
wine. And you're 40 now. Like, that's sort of the vibe it is, you know what I mean? So it's like that. I think those kind of things can be a bit of a, trivialised and stuff.
The other thing as well is obviously like January's after Christmas, so everyone's skin anyway. It's
Yeah,
like
don't afford anyway.
yeah, can't afford
That's a good
alcohol.
point.
Yeah, it's not a moral. You're not a moral saviour here. Like you just skin. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing dry January because I want to.
because the idea of booze is similar to the idea of remortgaging my house.
Yeah.
That's the point.
So the second question
Yes.
I have for you is, how do you think Venom, do you know that one,
I do like this one.
No. identifies sexually?
She's Venom.
Exactly. I knew that was going to happen, right? It's too niche. You're going to have to go with another
Oh,
one. We've got another one.
really? You think that's too niche? See, I really like it when I say something and then you're like, oh, I like that one.
Yeah,
So I was just waiting for them.
I like a classic, an old school classic.
Okay.
One
You,
you got.
educate me, please. Like,
Oh, listen, I just
Those are
Googled
more-
Disney characters.
oh, it's
Yeah,
Disney.
Well, it's not. That's not. Well, I guess it is because it's a superhero.
Is it Marvel?
Oh,
Marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Is that one.
Okay, Yoda?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
right.
Yeah, I know Yoda. So
Excellent.
don't
Thank
get
you.
me wrong.
Back,
Yeah.
back in the room with Yoda.
Thank you
Right.
very much.
Okay.
How do you think Yoda identifies?
I think Yoda's like an aging twink, isn't he? Just get that vibe. It's
Yeah.
very petite, very
Yeah,
gentle. Yeah.
His grinder
Oh.
profile's written in his voice. Like it's
Yeah.
everything is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just not said goodbye to Pop World, has he? He's just carried
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
same thing.
Shout out to Pop World.
Yeah.
His grinder's just like, can I come? I can't. That's the
I
vibe.
respect you so much for just doing that.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, look, it took a while to come up with something, but
Because you sat there thinking.
yeah, I was like, there's something good in this case. You want to watch the live process.
So you write it down after.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, there's an Edinburgh show in this. I've seen worse Edinburgh shows. Let's not pretend we've not
God.
seen worse
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, they're undone, but no disrespect. If you go to Edinburgh, go for it. But the shows you're going to love the most are the ones that are mental. Absolutely.
Please, give examples, Alex.
Alex, let's get you
A
cancelled.
play which was incredible because it was bonkers. I can't remember which one. It was the first Edinburgh I went to as a fan. I was like 18. And because my sister lived there, so I was like, oh, I'll go stay for a week with my sister. It was really cool. And the first night, I was like, yeah, we're at the Edinburgh Festival, this is really cool, this is what I want to do. And she was like, let's go see this play. And I wasn't aware that the Fringe wasn't just comedy. Right? I wasn't aware of that because I was just blinkered by that idea. And so we went to this play that was fucking insane. And it was about a therapist and her client, and the client falls in love with the therapist. So, but there's a lot of like metaphors for toxic masculinity in there. So again, as an 18-year-old just out of, you know, just done my A levels, like it was not the, I was not the target audience of the play,
Yeah.
and so I didn't really understand what's going on. Now I can appreciate it more. But it did end with them having a drone, but the drone was just the biggest dildo you've ever seen. And they were just flying it around, and it was a big theatre. This was as well. This was like a 200-seater theatre, which for the Fringe is big.
Yeah.
And they did the ending 5 minutes was that just like circling, but they could like, as well as the drone flying, they could with the remote they could angle the dildo, right? So
Wait,
then
was it an actual dildo?
yeah.
thank
So,
you.
so then at points, the dildo was looking at you. It's the only way I can describe it, and it was really weird. They could get it eye level, and then it would like spin and like.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny, very weird.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shows like that which I did not understand
Yeah.
as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And my sister was like, "You should come see this," and I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'm at the Edinburgh Festival," and then being like, "What the fuck?"
I Fringe last year. I went to go see a. How do I say this without like? I don't want to mention who like they are. Not that anyone's
We can
listening to this
bleep it.
podcast anyway. So it was like, okay, yeah, we can bleep it out.
Yeah.
It was like a CSI improv play type thing.
God,
I
it
mean-
was awful. They were in the streets
Oh, you
every
were
day.
there as well.
I didn't
Oh,
go
right.
see it because they were in the streets flying every fucking day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this one, it was in an auditorium,
Yeah.
and it the seats like angled down,
Yeah.
and someone on the back row
I've heard this story.
threw up, projectile vomited over like 4 rows of people. But the best thing is, when we went in,
Oh,
we were
God.
sat behind the people, and Shauna was like, I can't see anything, like I'm too she's just too short to be able to see,
Yeah.
like she couldn't see anything. So we moved down to the front, thank God, because I'm not joking, if someone had been sick on me, I wouldn't be alive now. Like I would never, ever recover from that moment. These people were, I couldn't believe that sit came from one person. I've never seen anyone so wet in all my life. It was the most horrific. And we just heard like loads of commotion going on. Obviously the actors had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
Heard loads of commotion, and then people just started walking out. We're like, what the hell's going on? And then this guy emerged that had got the majority of it, and his whole back was just wet. It was the worst thing. And the actors, eventually, I mean, how they
the
pulled
poor
it back.
I was going to say, I do feel for the actors.
How they
as
pulled
well.
it back from there.
How was the show though?
Fine.
That's the best it's going to be.
It was
Yeah.
like, but I will
Right.
remember it forever because of that
Yeah.
moment. And it
Improv's great.
stunk. It was just so
Anything, And I think, what's the worst thing that's happened to us at a gig like that? Have you ever got like a story where like something just really awful's happened at a gig? You've been doing, you're like, oh, what the fuck do I do now?
I've had like one of those open pub rooms where you know you think you're coming into an organised gig and then it turns out it's just like chaos and you go and when I was on stage this like drunk henpai like rocked in and were just shouting over me and it was just like and you've seen me what I do. I'm quite dry. I use time. I use silence and timing and there was just none of it. And this is my own fault, I should add. Like, I made it 10 times worse. But basically, their phone was going off. And some guy shouted, like, get her on the stage. But I thought he said, get off the stage to me.
Yeah.
And then I went on a really angry, sad rant at this man. And, it was honestly the worst gig I've ever had. And I was only about 3 minutes into like my 10-minute set as well, and then I just carried on to like absolute silent. I shouldn't have. I should have just given up.
I mean, I would have got in my car and cried.
I did. You know. I questioned everything at that point.
That is rough.
The only one that I had was someone called me a stupid bitch on International Women's Day. A woman on the front row.
Wow, that's awful. That's terrible.
And
she didn't
like
get the memo.
Dead eye, like looked straight to me and I just went stupid bitch. And I looked at her and I was like, sorry. Like, I was like, surely I've misheard this.
Yeah, surely that can't be. I was just love her again. She missed the memo.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be going, it's International Women's Day. She'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Then she'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean stupid bitch. I didn't mean it.
And she looked at me
Tomorrow
again.
would have.
Yeah, tomorrow. Today I'm not stupid bitch.
She looked at me again and said it again, and I was just like, oh, flabbergasted. I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
Oh, she doubled down.
And really like locking eye contact, which is hard for me at the best of times, but really like locking eye contact. What about you?
I got two from recently. One from very recently. Last night. Last night I was doing a. I can't really say who it was because the guy was really nice. The guy who ran it was really nice, but didn't really have a clue what he was doing. Bless him. But I arrived at this venue that was like it was sort of. Kind of like old school, like working men's club kind of vibe, but a nice stage set up. Like and they're like trying something in an area where like none of these people had ever been to comedy before, right? And they plastered my face on the poster, and so I turned up like half hour before I'm due to go on. Most of the night's already been and gone, and these three women at the bar like came up to me and they were like, "Oh, we've come to see you. This is great. We've come to see you. Oh, I can't believe. Yeah." I got on stage, and within a minute of me being on stage, one of them was so drunk they passed out. Like, they fell off their chair. Like, they'd been drinking all day anyway. Like, they'd been there all day. One of them, like, passed out, and I was like, a minute in, I was like, is she okay? Like, someone needs to address it. Because the rest of the room were just like, they were either her friends who were also drunk and could not give a shit, or it was everyone doing the classic British thing of, not actually dealing with the problem. I was like, there is a woman paralytic on the floor, like, we need to, like, and I'm a minute into 20 minutes. I can't do 19 more minutes before someone addresses this. Like, it's not going to happen. And it was just awful. But then two mates as well were just chatting throughout the whole thing. I was talking to them at one point, like, your friend's on the floor, and they weren't even aware that I was on the stage. Like, it was absolutely awful. And then it wasn't awful, which was one of the most recent ones I've had. It was actually really lovely and sweet and endearing. Is that I was playing a show in Norwich. It was what ended up being the last date of my tour, and it was amazing. One of the best gigs, like one of my highest turnout gigs ever. So it was like it meant a lot. And I was very nervous, and I got out there, and within the first 3 minutes, it became very apparent that there was a young girl in the first 3 rows with Tourette's, right? And so she'd come along, and I was like absolutely. Like, thrilled to bits she'd come along because I was chatting to her afterwards and she was like, oh, I often feel like I can't go out to these things, and like, I just worry about how to pick people off and stuff. And I was like, no, it's absolutely amazing. But what was awful was she was fucking funnier than me, right? And I was like, I want to give her tour support, right? Because she was so fucking funny. And there was a bit, like, because her Tourette's were, what she was saying was things like it would make sense with the rest of the conversation, the rest of what was going on in the room, right? So at one point I did a bit where I was like, and it was true because I turned up that day and I was running late to the gig, so I had to get an Uber, and I got an Uber from the train station to the theatre, and I was so like, I get so socially anxious about talking to taxi drivers. Right, it's the same with like a barber. I get so socially anxious about it. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm planning what to say to them, right? So I'm in the taxi and I'm like, what am I going to say when I get out? And I'm like, oh, let's go. Thanks, boss. Like in my best straight voice, right?
Right.
And I got out of the car and I genuinely went, thanks, boo. To the Uber driver, right? To Hussein. I said that to Hussein.
Oh
right?
my.
I gave him 5 stars. I do not imagine he reciprocated that 5 stars. Right? But I got out and I was like, oh my god. So then I was like, oh, I'll tell this on stage later on there. And so I was telling it on stage and I went, oh god, I actually had the gayest thing I've ever done, right? I was in a taxi and I was with the taxi driver and this girl Tourette's just shouted out, sucked him off! And I went, yeah, fair play, that would be the gayest thing I've ever done.
Did you think she was heckling?
No. At that point, I'd sort of worked it out. Like, yeah, we talked about it. I think before, but that was very, very funny. And then the rest of the room just completely fell about. And it was like,
Yeah.
so I just like put them on and went, I'll fucking see you later, guys. Like, walked off. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably one of the more recent ones where it's like, just as a comic, just being like, what the fuck do I do now? Because I was like, I've got 45 minutes of my show left to go, and nothing I say is going to be funnier than
Yeah.
But that's very wholesome, though. That's a
It is
nice
sweet
one.
and nice.
Yeah.
I can make it unwholesome again and tell you about
Yes.
one in Stoke that popped up.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, this is great. Stoke's where I'm from. But no, we're doing this open mic, and there was this old man just like sat on the side, just shouting at everyone, so drunk.
Oh, God.
And a lot of new acts didn't know how to deal with it, like weren't putting him in his box or like getting him out or anything. I went on, ripped him a new one, and he stood up and like walked over, and I thought,
Jesus
bloody
Christ.
hell, he's gonna get me. But then he just pissed himself.
Best one.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I don't know why that wasn't the first one that came in my head, but yeah, he just pissed himself, like right there, and then
With his pants on.
yeah, with his pants on.
So for a minute, did you not know what was happening? Like, what?
Well,
The puddle emerged.
Till it emerged?
well, we walked over, and I was like looking up top, making sure there wasn't any things, and then it was very clear he was just static in the middle of the room for a bit. And then you could see the puddle of water and the dripping, and yeah.
What,
Oh
had he done that as a
God.
protest? Or because he was so
As
drunk?
a protest.
What is that? What
No,
do you
it's
mean?
a
No,
I can't figure out.
The guy was just hammered. I doubt there was any logical thinking.
So he literally just stood up and pissed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so everyone come to Stoke, everyone visit stoke.co.uk.
Stoke.co.uk. Fucking hell.
Actually, I did a pretty bad gig in Stoke recently. Actually, I think
I think it's the same one.
All right, yeah, mate.
We can't say it. We can't say it.
No, I did one for quite a while. No. Oh my God, was it that one? I did that one years ago.
Oh,
that's
okay.
crazy. That's quite nice. That's
Wasn't the
super
night
fun.
I was there.
Oh,
I don't know where
I've
Stoke
done it
is.
once, and it was quite a nice one. I did one where this promoter runs it, but it was just, again, it was another one where it's like, these people come out, and it's great. It's amazing when people come out who've never been to comedy before. It is great, and it's such a brilliant and rewarding thing to do. And it's great for us, and great for the audience as well. But, like, when it's a full room of people who've never been to comedy before, and people just have no idea what the fuck's going on, that can be, like, really, really challenging. And there was just like the full like there was a group of like 20 mums from the local primary school, and they were all just like they were just having it as a PTA meeting at this point. Like it was just like those kind of things were happening a lot. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a nice gig in Stoke. Is the moral of that story?
Where is Stoke? Down south.
It's an hour south of Manchester, hour north of Birmingham. So
Okay.
yeah, right
Got you.
in that
On
sort
the
of
River
hot
Trent.
spot of nothing.
Historic market tower of Stoke.
Okay.
You've not
Said
seen
something.
Yeah.
Said something.
You've not seen
No,
the
no.
name.
Do you remember Dick and Dom and the Bungalow?
Yes.
Do you remember the cat?
The cat.
The cat went to Stoke-on-Trent. Sang about
No, I don't remember the cat.
Yeah, there was a little cat. He visited Stoke. He sang Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent. Historic town on the River Trent.
What is happening?
The great town of the great and the good, with Reginald Spitfire Wilson and Josiah Wedgwood. Come and visit us in the Pottery Shopping Centre. have an oatcake. It's a culinary adventure. That's how you pass the citizenship.
Let's
That was
a round of applause for that.
I'm
That was
amazed that you knew
unbelievable,
all of the
Chloe.
words, but I was like, you are from Stoke.
I think I got some of them wrong, but I'm just saying, generally, that is, you have to pass singing that song to live here. But
Right, yeah.
But it was, and then it resurfaced like more recently, like the last 3-4 years.
It got on reels,
Like,
didn't it?
Yeah, like at the same time as like, we're just innocent men. Do you know that one?
No.
Oh my god, how do you not know it? Do you know that one?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, of
it's
course
my
you do.
partner's
What's that?
favourite.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's great. It's just a puppet dog saying, we're just men. We're just innocent men.
And there's no context
No,
as
because
to...
it's like this puppet dog, and the woman presenting is just crying with laughter. Like, she cannot stop. She's fully gone. Like, she just cannot cope with this puppet dog that's causing chaos. But then I read a thing about that puppet dog recently, because when this was Hacker T Dog from CBBC. The T stood for the Hacker the Dog, Hacker T Dog.
Right.
He was from Wigan.
Okay.
This is my childhood, this is what I grew up with. I read a thing recently, because they used to, Ian Sterling, now comedian, used to present CBBC
Yeah.
with the puppet dog.
Yeah.
And they used to apparently have to practice for certain world events. Like if a major event occurred, they had to practice how they would announce it on children's TV. Because they'd cut to Newsround.
Yeah.
But it was like, they had to practice like, if the Queen died. And
Through Hacker the Dog.
Through Hacker the Dog. They'd have to practice how they'd say it. And he just couldn't do it. They were just laughing. And they pre-recorded it. But they just couldn't do it. They were just laughing the whole time. He's like, it's such a crazy thing to go, the Queen's died. And there's this puppet dog just like,
Just an innocent queen!
We're just innocent monarchs! But apparently they just had to do loads of different takes. And at one point, they thought, okay, this is how we'll have to do the take. The dog couldn't look at Ian because Ian Sterling would just cry with laughter. So then the dog was facing the wall, like away from the camera. So he'd go, the Queen had died, and the dog would be facing the wrong way, like doing that, like the dog had done it. Just awful. I just think that's the best thing about like children's TV. It's so
When it breaks
so
the awful.
Oh, when the whole thing breaks down, it is
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
And so good. But imagine having to announce that on kids' TV. That's just awful. But then, it also happened, I was chatting to a comic the other day, and we were talking about, a similar thing. We were talking about doing telly stuff, and he was going, yeah, well, it's never been the same since 2001. And I was like, fucking hell, where's this going? Jesus Christ. But he was like, I was at school in 2001, and they just, they knew what was happening, and they just wheeled in the tellies to show us. And he was like, I was 8, and they just wheeled in tellies to show us.
I found out on Newsround. Lizo told me.
Lizo informed you about 9/11.
Yeah.
I was at home
there'll be
for
so
some
many
reason.
people who that would have happened to.
I don't know why I was at home, but I was at home. I don't know why.
Time difference, isn't it? It would have been around 2-3 o'clock. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm sorry, I'm just loving the shout out for Lizo. I'll be honest. You every day and you're like, I haven't thought about them in upwards of a decade. It's I haven't thought about Lizo in over 10 years.
You played a prominent part in my life. There was.
Oh my god!
No,
these representatives did.
No, there was someone at
Jake
my
Humphries,
primary. Yeah. No, there was someone at my primary school where Lizo was his godfather. Really, really weird. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? He's going.
But there'll be a whole generation of children who are told about 9/11 by Lizo.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
The only way it's better is if they had been told by a
Hacker
fucking
the
puppet dog. Or the cactus. What was the cactus? Outro the cactus. If you'd been told by the cactus about 9/11, that would have been fucking hilarious. Even as a child, you'd be like, this is not okay.
It would have been weird to be a child that knew enough to know what was going on, but how the fuck have we got onto this?
I don't know, but I love it. It's my favourite episode.
We went from bad gig in Stoke to Stoke on Trent Cat, then to Hacker, then to the Queen, then to the...
But I love, because I love also, what I find hilarious is when people use the phrase, this is our 9/11. to describe another event.
Yeah.
Someone described the felling of the Sycamore Gap tree as his 9/11, and I thought that was the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, someone cut a tree down, mate. Like, I'm sorry, it's
Well,
not the
my
same.
best friend got engaged
At the Sycamore Gap tree?
at the tree, yeah. So I wonder if should we ring her and find out if that's how she would describe
So
it.
text us out, is that your 9/11? Is the felling of the Sycamore Gap tree your personal 9/11?
She's a nurse and she's like a really nice person. I feel like she'd be like Hollie. She's the opposite of me. You cannot say these things.
Yeah, I guess we will talk about you as a performer, right? And you are a fantastic comedian, and you're going all over the place on the circuit, which is really exciting. But I guess for you, you've mentioned a couple of times about people being quite confrontational already. Particularly the guy standing up and just pissing himself in the process, which I kind of respect. I don't know why. Like, I think that's better than just going like, oh, I'll get someone funny on. No, I'm just gonna piss myself. End the evening here. Like,
how did other people react to that?
The bar staff were just like, right, off you pop. Like, they just kicked it
Off
out.
you pop.
Off you pop. And then did someone come and mop it up?
Yeah, and that was the
Wow.
remaining 5 minutes of my set was someone like cleaning the floor.
Jesus,
Fantastic.
I mean, yeah, you can't really come back from that, to be fair.
Oh no, I had a good set. Like, I had a good set. I was.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It was one of those.
That's amazing to come back from that. That's pretty impressive.
Well, it was an open mic, it was a lot of
Yeah.
newer acts there, and I guess it was just lucky that it culminated with me. Someone that just had a little bit more like.
Were you the last one up?
No.
Oh God, there were more people to go.
Yeah,
as
there was
well.
more people on after. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's bleak. That's bleak. But I guess that sort of confrontation. I don't really know how to ask this question. Do you feel like you experience it more as an openly trans woman? Do you think you get the brunt of that sort of more either sort of explicitly or even implicitly? Like, do you think, because sometimes, like, I talk about being gay on stage, and I can sometimes feel like, people, particularly comments online, you can sort of work out, okay, that person who's saying their shit, they've not actually listened to anything I've said. They'd already decided they didn't like me from the moment I found out I was gay.
Yeah.
So for you, do you think there's some level of inherent bias sometimes when you go on stage?
Yeah, it's typically in a minority, but you can always see those faces that from minute 1 to minute 10 are just like sworn at not laughing. Like the whole room could be fucking going off, and you'll just see those few people that are just stony faced and just won't.
Just like, no, we're not having
won't accept a word. But no, I haven't had that much like verbal pushback. I think generally speaking, if you're anyone different, you always get those like loudmouths that think they can like start talking during that. I think probably everyone does, but I've got a very I've got a way of being directly aggressive while sticking to my routine, funnily enough, just directing the jokes at them in a pointed manner to just kind of shut them up. It can be simple punchlines, like I've got one joke that's very basic, but it's just like someone went, show us your tits, couldn't, left them in the car, stuff like that.
I think I've seen that.
It's basic, but if someone's chattering throughout it, you can literally walk over to the guy and say it in his face, and
you can be intimidating by
exactly, and it's just something like that where you don't necessarily have to go off on tangents and go down the drunk rabbit hole they want you to go on. You can literally just be like, I'm going to show you I'm in control here.
But you do leave it in the minority. It's not something you experience regularly. I
think what's good about comedy is it got me out like across a wide range of people. And if I'd have lived solely online, like as a trans woman, and just gone through this online world, I'd be terrified of like the world around me. And sometimes you end up going through like endless reels, and you can spiral and think that like the whole world hates you. But, you know, when you're forced to drive to Swindon on a Tuesday night and perform to 60 people, like, you know, you at least then you're seeing the world and you're going, oh, okay, it's not actually, like, that scary, you know, because I'm doing this, which is pretty ballsy, you know, and then the response is good. There's enough people that are open to it. And I think some people that I perform to maybe aren't necessarily open to it initially, but then when they realise, you know, after a couple of minutes that I'm not there to push a load of policies down their face and they're just jokes, you know, I think it's I think it's a good way of kind of bridging that gap. So
I've not seen you perform, I don't think.
No.
Do you talk about being trans a lot, like in your set? Or...
Oh, I rinse it for all the time. It's one of those where I think at the start I felt very unconfident in the fact that I could pass or that people wouldn't just know straight away. So it just felt like it had to be something that was addressed. And then I'm someone that, like, even though they're silly jokes, like, they're silly, but they always come from, like, a personal place of, like, you know, they come from either an insecurity or a pain or something like that, and ultimately those are then kind of tied to my existence, and my existence as a trans woman. So it ends up being like 90% to be fair. But, you know, sometimes I find it difficult to venture off the subject sometimes. Yeah. It's interesting, like, you know...
in a weird way, it becomes your comfort blanket. It's the thing you're most scared of, you can then use to... It's what you said about using it to sort of, you know, occasionally using it to intimidate people. I mean, I definitely had that when I started with things like, you know, I talk about a lot. If I'm playing, I prejudge audiences still. I try best not to, but I do all the time. But I used to do it. When you first start, you can't help yourself but prejudge your audiences, right? So I remember, like, if I do the roughest gigs, you'd be in the back of a working men's club somewhere in some tiny town outside of, 5 miles away from the nearest city, and you'd just be like, oh, these people are gonna hate me. And what I would do is I do what I call dialing up the camp. I would just be even more camp on stage. I'd really dial up that persona, and use that as the defense mechanism almost. So I was like, right, this is the bridge between me and you now, because it's like I'm almost not a person anymore, I'm a character. And I think that sort of, it took me a while to get out of that headspace and actually be the comic I want to be. I think that's part of anyone doing comedy, is you've got to find out the comic you want to be and what you want to do, what you want your voice to be. But for me, it took me a while to get off that I'm going to be funny, I'm going to be camp because camp's funny. Like, it took me a while to get off that, because I don't like that. Feels a bit lazy. But, like, particularly in the early days, that was like a really easy defence mechanism to have. And so it became my comfort blanket. It was actually the thing I'm most scared of being judged on. I'll just lean so much into that no one can possibly tell me any differently.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, even though it kind of veers on the same topic, like, we don't deviate too much far from the trans stuff, it does feel like my comedy is very schizophrenic at times. Like, like, it does feel like there isn't... It's unpredictable a little bit. Like, for the first couple of minutes, I might just be making stupid jokes, and then a few minutes later, I'll be talking about, like, how I got, like, I had, like, cancer last year. And then I'll, like, talk about that on stage. Again, through that sort of silly tone, but it really, like, I
would say any conversation with you is unpredictable. I mean, look at what we've talked about today.
Yeah, that's true.
We've been on one hell of an arc.
That's true. I mean, maybe this is the diagnosis I need, but, but you know, it's, I think one of the hard truths of it is when your comedy is so aligned to your personal sort of strength, is when you doesn't go well, it's very hard for it to not feel like it's a personal rejection of you as a person. And that's, like, something I've had to, like, really learn and feel like I'm in control of that now. And fortunately for me, for the last year, it's felt very rare that a gig has been, like, less than a 6. you know,
That's great.
Nice.
It's
That's
nice.
where you want to be, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
That's
I
great.
don't know if I've actually learned how to process baggings, but it just so happens to be that
No, that's
most
great.
of them are going nicely now. So it's kind of there's a sort of a set. Yeah, if you deliver enough quick, nice jokes at people, it's never going to go like lower than that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
But
nice.
it's just about growing into your voice as well, and going to, you know, what kind of comic do I want to be, and that takes time. But if you're at that point now, that's fucking exciting. Like if that's where you're at now, that's, you know, that's really cool. That's you're only heading in the right direction. That's great. And I think that's a lovely place to end. I think that's a lovely place to wrap up. Thank you so much, Chloe, for coming on the podcast. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Chloe Reynolds Comedy on both Facebook and Instagram, and I've got a couple of festival appearances coming up as well. So
What festivals can you say?
Birmingham and
Nice.
King's Heath at the
Nice.
moment, with a few to be confirmed. So go on the socials; it'll all get updated on there.
Awesome.
Fab.
Awesome. Thank you so much for you at home for listening. Please follow the podcast. Follow us for us all on social media. I'm going back to the Edinburgh Festival, my new show Tough, and I'll be hopefully bringing it back to England for a bit as well after the Edinburgh Festival, we hope. And tickets will be available for that somewhere. Just find my socials. That'd be great. Anything you want to plug, Hollie?
Yeah, I'm on a TV show called Sex After, and it's the Affairs episode on BBC iPlayer. Go watch that. That's all I've got to tell you.
And it is great. It is well worth a watch. It's brilliant for Hollie, and I've brought her up before, but there's another woman on it who I think is fabulous. And you should watch it for her. Thank you for listening. This has been the Queers On podcast. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
This episode of the Queers On podcast was produced in association with Unmasked Neurodiversity Network, an incredible charity in Leeds aiming to provide unwavering support and guidance to individuals within the community. To donate or find out more, visit unmaskednn.co.uk.